How culture shapes motivation in childhood. First of all, what is culture? Culture is a dynamic group of people who share similar contexts, histories, and practices, basically ways of doing things. In other words, it's the common ways in which participants in a community share. Everyone has a culture, including you. Thus, culture is very significant even in your childhood. For example, children are raised in a society that either values independence or interdependence. Independence applies to middle-class European Americans. The concept involves individuality, self-expression, and freedom from others in action and thought. On the other hand, in many communities, children have socialized to interdependence, which is responsive coordination with the group. For example, Chinese and Japanese parents want their children to become self-reliant and develop the life skills to be successful in contributing to members of the family. Essentially, people around you influence your decisions in life. However, there is one more section that is a mix between these two. That is interdependence with autonomy. This is usually seen in indigenous cultures such as the Mayans and the Nahuas. The idea involves individual freedom of choice in an interdependent system where people can coordinate with others autonomously. People in these cultural communities use non-interventional techniques that do not go against other people's self-determination. This promotes learning to collaborate with the group on your own initiatives. Examples of these techniques are respeto and acomedido. In this video, we are going to focus on Acomedido from the book Hunt, Gather, Parent by Michaeline Duclef. When Duclef was in a remote Mayan village, she was shocked to see a 12-year-old girl voluntarily washing the dishes as she woke up and during her spring break. She turned to psychologist Lucia Alcala, who is at the forefront of this research. Lucia told her that Acomedido teaches Mayan children to pay attention to their surroundings, recognize when a specific chore needs to be done, and then do it. Parents don't need to bribe or nag because children already feel an internal motivation to contribute. They want to help their family and want to work together as a team. Acomedido can be done by modifying chores that are appropriate for each child when they want to help you. In this example, the chore is cooking, and the first step is cutting the produce. You can start off with teaching the sharp and the dull side with a butter knife. Then move on to using a small paring knife, either hand over hand or on their own, and work their way up to using a stove and following recipes. This, unfortunately, does not exist in the US or really any Western country. Instead, we use incentives to bribe kids to do anything. Even experts suggest bribing or something else to reinforce the behavior of listening to parents.
By the time they're an adult, they need to be doing a full adult share.
And parents are their own worst enemies.
We're used to it, we want it done to a certain standard.
You've really got to drop your standards, and that's the trouble. Standards really get in the way.
She recommends providing an incentive like pocket money or certain privileges, and it'll pay off.
Will it pay off? Most likely no. The incentive is from an outside source, and during early childhood years, kids are playing with these instead. The Western way is to provide a steady stream of toys to keep kids occupied, including toy versions of chores like vacuums, brooms, and fake cooking sets like these. Realistically, kids are not learning anything from this fake food set. All this is doing is taking up space and throwing it away later on. Overall, culture influences more than you think. This goes beyond childhood as it is a product of a group of practices that has been passed down for generations. Motivation to do chores is just one of the many things that change based on the culture you grew up in. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed watching this.